All right, this is about Jack Sarfatti's latest YouTube talk with Jeremy of Alien Scientist about the anomalous aircraft or UFO that the military have reported, the so-called Tic Tacs. I've corresponded with Jack Sarfatti, and it's uncanny how many same sources he relies on to explain the physics of what he says enables warp drive as a EPR signal, that is a wormhole, as ER equals EPR. And so what Sarfatti is emphasizing is that the use of metamaterials enables a weak force as a relativistic quantum weak force, so that the gravity force is strong as a general relativistic curved space-time. And this enables the coupling of a non-local quantum energy that's achieved through a electromagnetic metamaterial with a sub-wavelength of photon energy, so that the virtual charges are inverse to the real charges, relativistic to the people inside the craft versus outside the craft. And so there's a lot to say about this for me, because in the summer of 1997, I had a close encounter with an anomalous equilateral triangle aircraft that had no fuselage, and it had a large red light in the center, and the craft was making a low humming noise as it passed over the large oak tree on the edge of my yard, and then my garage. It went slow, and I first sighted the lights on the horizon and asked my relative to come look at them. And then as I logically excluded any other explanations, my relative got bored and went inside, and then the lights began coming towards me and were over the neighbor's forest at just above the tree level, going slow and steady, and then came over our hill. So I was able to triangulate the size and location of the craft as it then came so close I could have hit it with a rock if I, quick grabbed a rock, but I didn't dare take my eyes off the craft, and I have no regrets about that, because in subsequent research, the people have experienced apparent radiation burns from being directly under the craft as it went overhead. And I've read the numerous reports from the National UF Reporting Center, and I've also uploaded a previous video about the numerous military jets that are seen accompanying this triangle craft that's an equilateral triangle with no fuselage. And also people have witnessed the craft when it's going slow. Like most of the sightings are slow and low, but then sometimes people see it shoot off so fast it appears to disappear. And so that corroborates that this big red light in the center is part of the some kind of anti-gravity propulsion. And what Jack Sarfatti is claiming is that it's some kind of piezoelectric metamaterial using a pumped phonon energy as a non-local quantum coherence of the metamaterial that then causes a space-time warping. So the people in the craft have an invariance of space-time, so they don't experience any acceleration because they are in the what would be called non-commutative phase. In other words, the future and the past overlapping, so that the space is zero and infinity at the same time. And so how Sarfatti explains this, he says that as the electromagnetic field goes to zero as a weak measurement, then it's also relativistic strong, and the gravity goes up as a reverse time energy. And he said this also explains the paranormal. And so in the year 2000, to finish my master's degree at the University of Minnesota, I did intensive training with a Qigong master named Chun Yulin, and he has medical research published about doing external qi healing. And so I also experienced a strong space-time vortex. That was a curvature of space-time. And it was such a strong experience that I stopped meditating after it until I could figure out an explanation for what happened to me, because I knew it wasn't just being dizzy from proprioception. I had very strong chi energy fill my body at the time, and I experienced telepathy, and also I saw spirits and ghosts, and I also did healing, and I think I mentioned precognition, or so. What I experienced in terms of meditation is detailed in chapter 11 of the book Taoist Yoga, Alchemy and Immortality. It's also mentioned in the work of Dr. Peter Kingsley, who did his PhD on Pythagorean pre-Socratic philosophy, this spinning vortex that occurs when you go deep into meditation. And my own teacher mentioned how once he overused his energy and also experienced this space-time vortex. And so you have to store up the Yuan Qi in the body, and the Yuan Qi then has to surround your spirit as light, and that's what enables you to maintain this invariant non-commutative phase of infinity and zero overlapping mathematically. And so, as Jack Sarfatti explains, it's for the electromagnetic field, it's a 1 over mu squared, and then the gravitational field is the opposite. It's so it's the squaring over 1 for the gravitational field in the opposite way. And what I disagree with Sarfatti about is he says how he met Olivier Costa de Beauregard, and I just read Costa de Beauregard's book on time, real physical magnitude. So Sarfatti says, yes, Costa de Beauregard figured all this out in the 60s, and Sarfatti wasn't able to understand it at the time, but now he understands it. But Roger Penrose points out that actually entropy is reversed for gravity in comparison to matter. So what science has done is defined entropy through matter, and therefore caused the ecological